Welcome to Planet MicroCap. I'm your host, Robert Kraft, and joining me today is James Macintosh. He is the CEO, president, and director at Graycliff Exploration. It's a publicly traded company. I got two symbols for you, GRAY on the CSE and GRYCF on the OTCQB. Jamie, thank you for joining me today. How you doing?
Thanks, Bobby. Nice to be on and nice to chat with you a little bit.
Absolutely. So Graycliff, you guys just did a presentation at our Planet MicroCap Showcase virtual. So for those that missed that presentation, or maybe we'll go back and check it out afterwards, can you give us that quick overview and history of the company, and then we'll go from there?
Yeah, so we, a group of us put the company together in 2019. We optioned an incredible little property, a fairly small one at the time, about 800 hectares in just west of Sudbury. And we took it public in August of 2020. So we're a fairly new company, but we since have added, we've increased the size of that to over 1,000 hectares. We picked up a second project called the Baldwin project, which is more greenfields, and that's about another 1,500 hectares. And it's really interesting because we're in really well-known geology on the prolific Canadian Shield, right west of Sudbury, on the edge of the Sudbury Basin. So in addition to gold, we also have critical minerals. We've got a little bit of cobalt. So there's a lot of stuff going on. It's a very mineral rich area. And we did airborne geophysics over both properties, both Shakespeare and Baldwin abut each other. So it's a really good situation for geology. And it's also a good situation for us from exploration point of view. The airborne geophysics came back with numerous new gold deformation zones, copper targets, nickel copper targets, and even some potentially platinum group element targets on both projects. And so, we're going to continue to look at, maybe even adding a little bit of new ground in the area. But the reality is we understand that this is an excellent area to mine. We've got a great infrastructure team. We can drive right to the drill in our pickup trucks. And yes, we all drive pickup trucks because that's what geologists do. The team is credited with a number of Ontario gold discoveries, even a nickel mine. So we've got a tight team, a good capital structure, and about 25% is owned by insiders and strategic investors. So, I mean, that's a very, very brief overview. But I think if you were to look at Graycliff, what is it? It's really a brownfields gold project where we're exploring in and around and hope to extend along strike, because we've got about 6K of strike, a very high grade zone. So we've had like 16 meters of 16 grams. And that's at a depth of 89 or almost 90 meters. But 16 meters of 13 grams right near that. So you've got all these large intersections of very good high grade. And so our zone, our mineralized zone in the Shakespeare property is probably 150 by 150 by 250 meters deep, and it's still wide open. So there's a lot of good upside potential. And there's some really interesting targets on the property. That's sort of where we're at on Shakespeare. And then Baldwin is very much a greenfield site. We have a lot of work to do in 2023.
Very good. So then, compared to some of your peers out there in the junior mining space, maybe even compared to some of the projects that are in the area as well, what would you say makes your projects unique and different compared to some of them?
So I think that one of the things that makes it unique is a lot of the gold in what we're seeing, even though we're in an area where you have a lot of sulfides, and those are critical mineral sulfides, so those are the right kind of sulfides to have. A lot of our gold is free gold, and that means that you don't have to use any kind of processing. It's gravity. You could use a Falcon concentrator, or I'm geeking out, but you can basically recover the gold cheaper, is the nut of it. And I think the fact that our infrastructure is so good, we literally have 85 kilometers of paved road to get from Sudbury to get to our property, and only about less than 5K of dirt road, which is plowed in the winter because it's in an area where there's houses. And the area where we are is already been mined at the turn of the century. So it's a brownfield site, which makes any kind of permitting much better.
Very good. And
I think our people is a big part of it, because almost all of our people are shareholders. So our QP is a shareholder, our drillers are shareholders, our geophysics team are shareholders. So you have a group that's committed to the company, and that makes a huge difference because you can, our drilling costs are lower than most people's because of that, because they're shareholders, they're not trying to gouge us. So it really does make us stand alone. Bruce Durham, our QP, is a highly respected geologist. He's one of the guys or the co-discoverers of Hemlo, 2 of the 3 mines at Hemlo. And for those of you who don't know Hemlo, it's 26 million ounces they've taken out of the ground so far at Hemlo out of 3 mines. And it's very similar type of material to what we're looking at Shakespeare.
Very good. All right. Well, so to close us out here today, from what you can tell us, what would you then say are some of the company's value catalysts in the near term and looking ahead for full year 2023?
So just before Christmas, we drilled a metallurgical hole. And the point of that is to actually see if the gold is all free gold like we think it is, and to give us an idea of what the recoveries would be for the base recoveries we'd get out of the main ore zone that we have so far. And then we're also going to be this year testing step out targets. So we did identify gold deformation zones. We're going to be drilling some of those. And we also got some massive geophysical anomalies on both Shakespeare and Baldwin that we want to go and drop a couple of holes into just to see what's there. We think it could be more of this gold and base metals combined.
So Jamie, with that, where can our audience go and find more information on Graycliff Exploration?
So www.graycliffexploration.com. And my email is jm@graycliffexploration.com. I look forward to receiving any interest and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Very good. Well,
thanks
Jamie,
a lot, Bobby.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. Good luck. Stay safe. And I look forward to our next update.
Thanks, man. Cheers.
Thank you.